Joining us now to discuss this, former founder of the investigative.project.org, terrorism analyst, our good friend Steve Emerson. Steve, they're instructing these kids specifically in the use of firearms and how to kill here. And yet we have, as we were arguing in the last segment, we have liberals in this country that want to deny that this is the rise of fascism in our time.
You know, Sean, this is the first time that I've seen in my 20 years of looking at these videos a 2-year-old handling an AK-47 and claiming to be a shaheed or martyr and wanting to be a suicide bomber. I mean, this is pretty horrifying in terms of the lessons that it permeates for the rest of Palestinian and Middle Eastern society. And the fact is that you can call this anything you want, but it is Islamic fascism in the same way that, you know, Italian fascism and German Nazism weren't slurs on Germans or Italians. They simply described the phenomenon of what people believed in those countries. Is
it any different than the indoctrination, especially a lot of this is focused on Israeli aggression, or as you point out, martyrdom, or the pursuit of martyrdom in the name of God and religion here. Is it any different in your mind, in your estimation, than, say, the Nazi youth movement of Hitler?
No, because the same essence, the same, end objective is the same, which is the ultimate demonization of Jews and its enemies so they can be killed. That's what these lessons do. That's what these television programs do. They demonize the Jews or Christians so that they make it acceptable to kill them. That's exactly what the Germans did.
Steve, aren't you demonizing Islam? Aren't you, when you use words like Islamofascism, it conflates an entire religion with fascism, and that's demonization
Alan,
and it offends an entire religion.
What term would you use? Alan, what term would you use?
I would call it fascism. But I wouldn't link it to a religion as you choose to do. And doesn't
just
this also
fascism?
show?
So what makes it different than Italian fascism or German fascism?
You're indicting an entire religion. It doesn't represent the entire religion as opposed to
wait a second, Alan. When they had the IRA battles, they referred to Protestant extremists and Catholic extremists.
I object to that
They
term.
didn't indict everybody who was Catholic and Protestant.
I'm telling you, and my opinion is, and we obviously disagree, and there are many who happen to agree with me, that this is extremely insulting to an entire religion, and that you can call it fascism if you want. You want to talk about specific people who do heinous deeds. Nobody says this is good, what we're seeing, but you want to extrapolate it to an entire religion.
Alan, let's take the term away, Islamic fascism. Let's use the term Islamic militant or Islamic extremism.
You leave religion
out of it. Does that offend you?
No, it does. It is offensive because you want to define a religion by attaching a word to it that defines that religion.
Does the term Islamic jihad offend you?
You're using offensive terminology because you are defining a religion that way.
Alan, that's the term of a group that describes itself as Islamic jihad. We caught you, Alan.
No, you didn't
that's
catch
not
me.
something that we call them.
Fine. It is an offensive, and you are indicting an entire religion by the terminology.
Wait, Islamic jihad, Alan, Islamic jihad calls itself Islamic jihad. They are the ones defining the religion, not us.
Good, let them
and
do
you're
it.
telling me that we are the guilty ones?
It's not for you to define their religion. We're going to talk more.
I'm only using their term.
I don't think you have the right to do that. I don't think that's your
I don't have the right to use their term?
Because it's their religion, not yours, and you're trying to define their religion your way. But we're going to have
You're
more
an apologist, Alan.
Right, Steve,
You're an apologist for Islamic extremism, period.
Call me all the names you want, Steve, and that says more about you than about me. More in the shocking video of Hamas conducting terror training with toddlers, and more frightening images coming up.
Life changes. So should your insurance. That's why you need Trusted Choice. Independent insurance agents who help you get the protection you want along the way. With personalized policies from a choice of companies.
The Trusted Choice agent in your community works with you, so you can choose the insurance that fits your life, no matter how it changes.
To find a Trusted Choice agent near you, visit TrustedChoice.com.
There's a place in this country where the air's fresh, where there's zero landfill, where nearly everything is recycled. And if you look around, you'll see deer, rabbits, blue herons. Some people call it a little piece of heaven. We call it the Subaru plant here in Indiana.
Man managing a fast-growing business?
We'll be there.
Then manage your office furniture as smartly as you manage your money.
We'll be there to take care of everything.
Court can help you stay flexible.
Whatever you need.
We'll be there.
To give you options.
We'll be there.
To deliver and set up in 48 hours.
Only one company can do it all seamlessly.
Anytime, anywhere. We'll be there.
Wherever you're heading, we'll be there.
Lower sodium soup. Great taste. But how?
Campbell's added our one-of-a-kind lower-sodium natural sea salt to help give our healthy request soups up to 50% less sodium. With amazing taste.
I thought you said this was lower sodium.
Remember the anticipation of hearing the ice cream truck? In Poland, Cargill borrowed the idea for something quite different. Small Polish farms had difficulty getting affordable feed for their smaller herds of animals. So Cargill created a way to bring the feed directly to them on musical delivery trucks, selling a few bags per visit. Keeping the small farmers competitive and their animals happier. This is how Cargill works with customers.
Who first believed in you? Listened to your dreams. Got you on your way. With Citi's people and expertise, you have a partner to help you start that business. Buy that house. Build a fortune. Take your business global. We all need a partner that helps turn dreams into realities. Citi. Let's get it done.
We now continue with terrorism analyst Steve Emerson. The images we're showing, Steve, doesn't this show the way to deal with this? And we don't deny that it's happening. So there's no argument there. But shouldn't we be dealing with this not with guns, not with munitions, not with military action, but with books, not bombs, with better education, not war?
Alan, it would be great, but we're not the ones controlling their behavior. If they would engage in books and educational moderation, that would be great, but they're the ones engaging in use of Shaheed, martyrdom, suicide bombing, AK-47s for 2-year-olds. If you want to make sure that there's moderation, let them engage in it. And by the way, Alan, I don't see you getting upset when I hear the term Hindu extremist, Protestant extremist, Jewish extremist. It's only when you use the word Islamic
as Islamofascism. You want to go back to that? I want to move the conversation forward, though, and talk about, for example, our own NIE report. 16 intelligence agencies concluded that, for example, the Iraq conflict has become the cause célèbre for jihadists. And the best we can do, this war has encouraged others and fueled the kind of fascism you're talking about. Shouldn't we, and I go back to books, not bombs, that's where we could be putting our energies much more positively than more military action.
We are not the ones that are doing the bombing, Alan. They are. And unless they want to read the books, we can't force them to it. The fact is, Alan, they are the ones committing fascist acts. They're the ones committing suicide bombings. And they did it before we went into Iraq. They did it in 1993. They did it in 1998. They did it in 1999.
Hey, Steve, let's look at the words,
though. 2001.
Steve, God will make you a martyr, a religious term. The word jihad, holy war. God will reward you with virgins, you know, as they strap bombs on their own children. The religious terms, or the religious connection, is those who have perverted the religion and use religion, their twisted version of Islam, to move this fascist movement. So the definition is appropriate. They are fascist. They're strapping bombs on their own kids. They think they're doing God's will, and God's waiting to reward them. So that is the proper definition.
Of course it is, Alan. And you know what? The groups in the United States, like CARE and other groups, flip the inversion. And what they say is the use of the term Islamofascism, Islamic terrorism, Islamic extremism is racist. And therefore they try to intimidate anyone who talks about the extremist agenda of radical Islam. I think that's obscene.
All right. Thanks very much for being with us. Appreciate it.